Stephanie, and this is Lotus. So, first, I just want to let you guys know you will hear cartoons in the background, probably some rattles. It's my little. I've got her in here with me, so try not to get distracted, and I won't. So, that being said, let's move forward. So today's video, I wanted to kind of talk about mental health component for those of us that do have it, as far as DHS is concerned. So having mental health issues is okay. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, regardless of your diagnosis. And that's my personal belief. Just because you have a mental health condition does not make you any less than anyone else. I feel like DHS, in the beginning of my case, kind of used that against me. And I was unprepared for that. I didn't think that they could. And in many ways they can't. I just didn't realize that, and I had some people early in my case that were taking advantage of the situation. So I myself, just to name a little bit, and I won't go into too much detail because nobody wants to hear anyone about that. But so I have CPTSD. It's complex PTSD. From prior situations in my life where some pretty bad things happened to me. And as a result of that CPTSD, I suffer from anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and a few other things. And, you know, for a long time, I had a hard time accepting the fact that I had issues. And, you know, I think that's normal for a lot of people. I think a lot of people kind of go through stages of grief, so to speak. You know, and I feel like that's okay. You know, you got to process it and adjust it, you know, however you can. But from my understanding, it's pretty common for people to go through a sort of stages of grief when they find out they have mental illness. So for me, it was a long time before I would really accept, you know, what was going on inside me. Everything felt really chaotic and, you know, overwhelming, to say the least. And in turn, that drove a bit of my addiction in the past. Like I said in earlier videos, I was sober 13 years, you know, and prior to that, I was not in a real great place. And, you know, I feel like a lot of people, once they find out they have mental illness, they just kind of give up because it doesn't feel like, you know, you can get anywhere else. You know, it's like, okay, well, this is forever going to be me. Well, along with, you know, this is one of my favorite DV sayings for domestic violence victims. Although I'm not a fan of the term victim. I am a survivor, not a victim. But it's something that happened to me, not who I am. And I feel like the same can be applied to mental illness. You know, my mental illness is not who I am. That is not what makes me who I am. That is not what drives me every day. You know, it's just something that I have to deal with. It's something that happened, you know. And whether it's genetic or situational or, you know, trauma-based, you know, I feel like that doesn't really matter. It's just something that I have to deal with, but that doesn't mean it's who I am. And I feel like that applies to everybody. I've never met a person with a mental illness that I felt like, oh, well, you know, their illness is who they are. Like, that's just who they are. Like, that never crosses my mind. You know, and so when it comes to DHS, first of all, if they don't know you have mental illness and it's something that you are managing, I'm not necessarily sure I would say anything again, just because I did this last time and it was something that they did try to use against me. They actually shut my visitation down for a while at first, in part because they said I was crazy. And I'm not. PTSD does not make you crazy. I don't know why people seem to think that, but anyway, so I was forthcoming, very forthcoming with all of my issues in the beginning because I was asking for help. You know, I was trying to say, hey, these are the things I'm struggling with. Can you please help me? And instead, my original caseworkers just didn't see it that way, I guess. I don't know. But they ordered me to have a full psych eval that turned out to not be a psych eval, really. It had everything to do with addiction and parenting, and whether or not I was capable of being a parent and being sober. Which was frustrating, to say the least. You know, so for me, you know, when I went in there and I was like, okay, I'm going to get a full psych eval, I've needed one of these for a while, so, you know, I walked in the room expecting solutions, answers, you know, and instead it came back, the only answer I got was, is this mom so mentally unstable that she's incapable of caring for her children? And the answer was no. No, I'm not so mentally unstable because, again, I'm not crazy. So, you know, it was very frustrating that was the goal they were going for and had told me it was something else. Which is why, me personally, if anything ever happens again, I don't think I'm going to even bring it up until they do, because it's not okay to use that against a parent, you know, to make me feel less than what I am, to make me feel less capable, to literally use the terminology incapable of being a parent was trauma in its own right. You know, telling me that I wasn't even capable of being a mom was devastating to me. Sorry, this is a little bit emotional for me. It was very frustrating to hear that, and somewhat discouraging, you know. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, so one of the things I had to do was find a way to stay positive while all these awful things were being said about me. And, you know, looking back, I have no idea how I did it. I'm not sure where the idea came from. Where the drive came from. I honestly couldn't tell you. What I can tell you is that I focused on proving them wrong. It was like, okay, these things are not true, and no matter how many times I say they're not true, there's no evidence to back me up. I'm not presenting a case here. I'm just arguing it. I'm complaining, and that doesn't get anyone anywhere. So the best advice I could give about that, the best thing, you know, that I did that changed and helped turn my entire case around, sorry about that, she's throwing her drum. So the best thing, you know, I can really say is get into the mindset of, okay, well, we're gonna play this game, so regardless of how I feel about it or what I think or, you know, any of that. We're going to have to play it anyway. So I'm going to play their game. I'm going to do what they asked me to do, but I'm going to do it better. I'm going to walk out of this with flying colors on my back saying, hey, don't mess with me. I am not what you think I am. I am not what you say I am. I am who I am, and I'm going to show you. You know, it's that kind of mindset that I think is how I ended up turning my case around. And I did absolutely. They wanted me in counseling. I said, okay, well, I've been in counseling for a while, for years, since I was 6. So anything else you could ask me to do? You know, I'm going to continue it whether you ask me to or not. So what else? You know, and they threw everything at me, from the psych eval to counseling to, you know, other types of testing, and I was constantly having to answer these depression questionnaires, which was annoying, but, you know, I passed them with flying colors every time, you know, and it was just like, okay, I'm going to do it better. I'm going to do what you asked me to do, but I'm going to do it better. I'm going to excel at everything you asked me to do. And I did, to prove them wrong. You know, it's like, what is that old saying? I can't remember. But it basically, the gist of it is, you know, well, you can say what you want, you can think what you want, but watch me fly. You know, watch me go, because I'm going to show you wrong. And I feel like that had a huge impact on helping me stay positive, because I knew I wasn't those things. I knew I wasn't mentally incapable. I knew I wasn't crazy, so to speak. You know, so I think knowing that, knowing who I am, knowing what I am and what I'm capable of, not only drove my ability to excel at everything they asked me to do, but it also helped me stay positive. Because I knew I was going to prove them wrong, you know? So that's really the best thing I know to do about the mental health component. And I know it's overwhelming, and I know it's frustrating. It is so frustrating to be told that you're mentally incapable when you're not. You know, for anyone to be accused of something that isn't true is frustrating, to say the least. You know, so I know, I get it. But hang in there and just, you know, show them who you are. Prove to them that they're wrong. Give them evidence, hard evidence, saying, hey, you're mistaken. You know, this is not me. I'm sorry it's not, but, you know, I can only be who I am. And I'm going to be the best parent I am capable of being, which clearly is much greater than what you seem to assume. You know what I mean? So I really hope that helps. I really hope that that brings comfort to those of us that do have to struggle with mental illness in any way, shape, or form, be it mild or major, is irrelevant. There is no scale in my book as far as mental health is concerned. You know, there is no level 1, level 2, DEFCON 5 kind of situation here. You know, mental health is mental health, and it's hard on anyone. So I hope this really helps, and I hope it brings you comfort, and I hope moving forward in your cases that, you know, you're able to turn things around and show them who you are, show them the parents that I know all of you could be. So stay positive, guys. Be a Lotus.